do you feel that it will affect President Trump come election day, the fact of his handling of the COVID issue?
Okay. People are going to say in retrospect that you should have locked it down earlier. You locked it down what? Very early. I think you had like 1 or 2 cases, like 4 cases I think was in America when you lock it down. I mean, you couldn't lock it down any quicker than that. It's a bear in mind how he's handling of it. People are going to look at it and say, you know what? He did his best given the circumstances. He didn't want to lock down everything in terms of the economy, shut down everything down. It was projected there was 2.2 million people would have died if he didn't do anything. I mean, at the end of it, 200,000 died. I think 220,000 going on now died. So basically, you could say save 2 million lives by locking it down. So you had to lock it down. But once you get an understanding of how the disease is and the disease processes, which none of us knew what it was, but now that we understand how it operates, the drugs that can help it and are treating it, and the therapeutics that are now available, it's now for it to gradually open back up and continue the social distances, continue to wear the mask, but we have to open back up. You're gonna have a depression which the country cannot even recover from now. You have seen Europe. Look at Europe is going through the doldrums right now.
Let's move to Erwin Clear. He operates a business in the United States, and he may very well have been bitten by the impact of COVID-19. Erwin Clear, how much of an issue you think this will be on the ballot come November 3?
100%. Clearly, and respect due to Mr. Powell, Mr. Powell highlights the world we live in today. And the world we live in today is one which we have, and we are all responsible for it. But we have a person there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue who has been perpetrating this type of rhetoric on the world we live in today. The fact that there's a pandemic, nobody is blaming President Trump for the pandemic. The challenge is that he did not and have not managed it well. And that's a fact, because we have 227,000 persons and counting who have died today. And even though the death rate may be lower, the death rate is higher in the very states that were adhering to his so-called rules. And we see those spiking numbers. And even to this day, no, excuse me, sir. I listen to your rhetoric.
No,
I don't agree. Let me finish, sir. And even to this day, we still have persons out there who are perpetrating the fact that, not even listening to the scientists, to those who have the facts. So yes, it has affected me, and I'm upset. But I also recognize that 227 persons have died, including my brother. I am pissed. So when to hear somebody talk about a lockdown early or whatever, we're talking about the management of it. And it squarely sits at the president's table because he is the person in charge. And so people going out to vote, that is their number one issue. And you can't go around the corner on that one.
Well, let me allow Ainsworth Powell to respond. And I saw Delia Walker Huntington shaking her head, so I'll also give her a back to this one. Ainsley, go ahead.
Well, my condolences to the fact that you lost your brother. No one likes to know they lose unless other family.
Sorry, we're losing you.
I said my condolences to you for losing a brother, sir. I'm sorry to hear about that, from the bottom of my heart. I also lost a family member as well, from the COVID. And my neighbors, 2 of my neighbors, died from it. The fact that we lost 200 and some thousand going on, sir, and you must understand this. And if you looked at the CDC report, it was projected it was 2.2 million that should have died. Therefore,
that's just not true.
You know what? Go to the CDC website and check it yourself.
No,
go to the CDC website and check it yourself.
Listen, you're drank the Kool-Aid.
Do the math on that.
Let me allow him to finish, and then we'll give you a chance.
All right, leave me a chance to finish talking, okay? Bottom line is, when the disease process come, none of us knew what was going on. Doctors at the hospital that I was working was mistreating and misdiagnosing patients, giving them ventilators and blowing their lungs. 80% of the patients we had on ventilators was dying. You understand? So ventilator was one of the causes. Now we know we're not going to give them ventilator. We'd rather put them on high flow oxygen and let them, the whole incentive breathing takes place. And if they deteriorate therearound, we could put them on low ventilator settings. We are blowing their lungs. I basically was going to work on begging patients not to die on me. So I've seen the death rate. I've gone to work as a 3-4 patients that I've taken care of died on by the time I reach home. So nobody can sit there and say I don't see it. I've seen it, but I said we are now able to manage the disease process better. We understand the whole process, how it works. We are treating it. We have therapeutics in place. Right now at the hospital where I'm at, we have no COVID cases dying. We have a lot of infection rates spiking recently, but we are managing them and they are going home. So we need to gradually open up the
yesterday there were over 1,000 people who died in the United States of America. We are the only industrialized country that has mismanaged the pandemic. If you look like Taiwan, South Korea, China, New Zealand, they have been able to manage the pandemic in such a way where there has not been the sort of enormous loss of life that we have seen in the United States. In some years ago in China, there's a man called Jim Jones who was able to get cyanide. And what you have done is to bought into Trump's Kool-Aid. And you need to, in fact, think critically.
You compare a country leader to the president. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Let me allow you to come in here, Dale Walker Huntington, and then we will move to the issue of immigration.
Let's get some facts clear. Donald Trump did not lock down America. He did not. It's up to the governors to lock down. New York was locked down because of Andrew Cuomo. I live in Florida. We were not locked down. Individual counties put in place mask mandates and stay-at-home orders in order to minimize the spread of the virus. So let's get that clear. When Joe Biden says that Donald Trump was xenophobic in terms of shutting down China, he was right, because the virus that hit the East Coast of America did not come from China. It came from Europe. And Donald Trump has continued to call the virus the China virus. He knew. Did you listen to the tapes when he spoke with Bob Woodward? He knew that the virus was detrimental. He knew it was worse than the flu. He knew it was going to spread and contaminate millions of Americans. But because he prioritized his re-election over the lives of American citizens, he allowed us to go out there in March without knowing that we could have contaminated each other and killed each other. He allowed this. Nobody is saying he caused the virus, but his handling of the virus is the reason why millions of Americans, more than any other industrialized country, contracted the virus, why hundreds of thousands have died, and why we are in the economic state that we're in now. We cannot just say open up the economy when he's out there mocking people for wearing masks. He will not say that you must wear masks and show an example of wearing masks. He continues to hold super spreaders at the White House, exposing people to the virus, exposing his supporters to the virus, and all he's saying is open up the economy, showing that herd immunity is what we're supposed to do. So what does herd immunity mean? I'm not willing for any of my family members to die so that the economy can strive. We need to have a concerted approach, and that's why Joe Biden is leading in the polls, because he has a plan, which Donald Trump does not have a plan.